What a great morning. What an outstanding morning. What a dynamic morning. And you are a part of it. Thank you for inviting me into your home, into your car, into your RV, but letting us be a part of your life this morning. Yes, Mom, we made it out to the station. Yes, Mom, we're going to make sure that the Clara Luper Show, live and in beautiful living color, coming to you on this beautiful Saturday morning where the sun is shining. And, I woke up this morning a little depressed, thinking I was depressed until I went outside and had an opportunity to see that blessing that the Lord gave me an opportunity to see. That blessing was the sunshine. You do the same thing, but while you're out there on that friend, on that neighbor's door, and say, make sure that you're a part of this, the Clara Luper Show, where we're live and in beautiful living color. A lot of things to be proud of, a lot of things to discuss, but the most important thing is if you're not a registered voter, don't listen to this show because we know you won't be ready to pay attention to the items that we're going to be talking about off and on during the course of the show. We know that if you're not a registered voter by now, that you have no concern about your future, your kids, your grandkids' future. We know that even though you may be quite comfortable wherever you're at and you're not a registered voter, we've got to change some things. And the most important thing that we're going to change will be you. Mike Shelton, going to talk about you. It's be good, maybe. And we're going to let some people know some great things that you have planned, some great things that you have done. Mom, Marilyn, waiting on your call and waiting on that to come through. Continue while we go through this. We're going to sit back. We're going to relax. We're going to enjoy that cup of coffee that we had earlier, that we still have, that you're not supposed to have in the blue room. Howard, don't get mad. But that cup of coffee is here. And the reason it's here is because of the one of our new advertisers there at McDonald's across the nation. McDonald's, thank you so much for being a part of the Clara Luper Show. We invite all of you to go by McDonald's, not only just for the coffee, but for the great service, for the outstanding food, and all of the kids out there, you know what's going on. We will tell you much more. Hometown, 23rd Martin Luther King, Gates Barbershop, Philip. Thank you for, oh man, I'm not going to thank you for that. You just did what your sign said. We will make you beautiful. You did? You did a great job, not only on the customers that you had in there last Thursday, but on all the customers that go by Gates Barbershop, 2609 North Martin Luther King Avenue. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this particular song that I know that you're going to love. Thank you, Lord. Thank you so much, Lord, for giving me, for giving our family, for giving our friends, and for giving you wider shoulders, a stronger back, so that we can carry this load that we hate to carry, but we know that you're never going to put too much on us that we cannot bear. Great things have happened this week. We've seen an outpouring of love. We've seen an outpouring of sympathy. And we've seen an outpouring of true concern in our family this week because you, the people out there, you there at Fifth Street Baptist Church, you let us know that you do love the Clark family. You do share the pain. You do share the sorrow that Betty Germany is going through. You do hopefully understand that even though we buried Carlos yesterday, the hard times or the most difficult times are still coming up. But we'll talk a little bit more about that, the services there, because there's another service that happened yesterday that all of Oklahoma City is still talking about, and that's our good friend Sergeant Douglas. And we will bring that up. We will be concerned about that. We were proud of the fact that we could see Sergeant Douglas riding that motorcycle, and all of Oklahoma City would feel an extra sense of pride because of the fact there he was on a motorcycle right here in our growing city, even though he did not, well, he saw the city grow, and he made a part of the city growing. But right now, let me welcome our new listeners down in Atlanta. I don't know if you got your computer on the right thing now, Lee and Jocelyn, but thanks for calling last night and letting us know that you would be a part of this, the Clara Luper Show. being brought to you by what's that? Allstate Insurance, 730 West Britton Road. It's it's fun because of the fact yesterday was Douglas's homecoming, and I'm waiting to get my special reporter to come in and give us something special viewpoint on Douglas homecoming activities that happened during the course of the week. We know there was a big parade. We know that there was a big game, but you ain't heard you haven't heard anything. I broke that verb. You ain't heard nothing yet. Did it again until you hear about the activities that went on down at Douglas High School there on Northeast 8th Street and Martin Luther King Avenue. Great things continue to happen on the east side of Oklahoma City. Great things will continue to happen because you want to be a part of it, because you are interested in building your little small business or big business right over here where there are customers that are anxious to be there. Otwell's has been a part of our community for years. It was Ward's, if you can go back that far, some of us can, but it's Otwell's now. They count on you coming in there for some good buys. They're not quite as good as Hometown, because Hometown is 23rd Martin Luther King, where they have the very best in produce, the very best in meats, the very best in outstanding young people that work there. And fundamentally, Hometowns is the best place. But Otwell's is right there too, Northeast 10th Street and Martin Luther King. You know we're spending a lot of time on Martin Luther King Avenue because we want you to start spending a lot of time on Martin Luther King Avenue. Young man that grew up knowing very well what was happening here in Oklahoma City, knowing very well what was happening everywhere he's been. He's known everything. That's none other than my good friend, outstanding colonel, dynamic dean of students down at the University of Oklahoma School of Law. We'll talk about him, but he might sue me. But Stanley Evans, we are extremely proud of the job you've done, extremely proud of the fact that you've been a part not only of making OU a much better place, not only in the growth of the law department down there, but in maintaining the tradition that Oklahoma has there in the law school. Thanks, Stanley. You're doing good. You're doing well, but you know that. But we know that Sandra, your beautiful wife, we know that that all of us understand the impact that you've had on the Miss Black Oklahoma program. All of us understand the impact that you've had in changing our community and changing our state. But this was something that was really, really, really unexpected, and that was you being elected a chairperson for the State Human Rights Commission. We're going to look forward and closely at what you do, and we will be happy to talk about it. We are proud of Stanley, but there's another young man who should be calling shortly that we are proud of too, because he's taking that big jump. And there's nothing like taking a big jump. Now, with Stan being in the Human Rights Commission, with young people around the state not knowing what the Human Rights Commission has done, I bet you in the next year and bet you in the next 6 months, you will understand better the function of our Oklahoma State Human Rights Commission, because he's going in there and he's going to maintain and he's going to make a great difference. Where are we? Are we there with it? Almost there with it. All right, that's not it. Okay. So I've kind of hit the right buttons. I've kind of hit the right things that we were going to discuss, which we will continue to discuss. I would brag on the fact that what should I brag on? I can just brag on you. Take a look around you and take that as my bragging rights. Sit back, enjoy this, but better still, prepare yourself to hear from the King. Prepare yourself to hear from a young man named Butch. Prepare yourself to hear from Marilyn, because there's some things that we want to share with you that we were anticipating to share with you before 9:30. We're ready now. I love it. Hope you love it too. As soon as Lex get with me, hero, I know that you will love this exceptional exceptional song that we're going to play right about now. If we don't play it, well, we won't play it right now. We'll play it a little later on. But what we will do is remind you of your NACP membership, remind you of Monday nights at the Freedom Center starting at 6 o'clock. The NACP Youth Council still meets, reminding you that tomorrow at 11 o'clock at your favorite church, at any church you go to, make sure that you are there. Reminding you that sometime today, during the course of the events of today, you check your pocket and make sure that you are a registered voter. We can't really do without you being a registered voter. Lex, let me go with this one, okay? So many things. Wide shoulders, strong back. A chance, an opportunity to make a difference in our community. We'll come back to this song. I know a lot of you out there went, man, finish that. But no, I have something even better than that song. We have a young man on the line that has a plan. Now, I don't know what his plan totally is, so we're all going to learn at the same time. Good morning, caller. Welcome to this, the Clara Luper Show, where Calvin is your host, and we're live in beautiful living color. You got to speak up, though.
Calvin, how are you?
Fantastic. Second best day of my life now that I've seen the sunshine, felt the wind, enjoy seeing the clouds, looking at the beauty on the grass and the trees. Man, ooh, excited. And then you call. You don't know the difference that makes. I know this voice, but share with us your name and why you would take the time out this early morning to be a part of this show. Who are you?
Well, this is Willard Lindsay again. We're
Willard
calling
Lindsay again.
Calling to share progress and thoughts and some good news, I trust, as we move forward towards the elections in November on the 4th.
Oh, the 4th of November?
The 4th of November. I heard you encouraging folks to get registered and folks to go vote. And I think this is such a critical election year as we have an opportunity to elect an African American into the White House. And I think that we need to add that voter education piece. In fact, I was talking with a group of folks that were doing Unity to get out the vote mobilization deal last night, and that was the question I asked them. I said, well, if we do mobilization and we do voter registration, what is the push we're going to do here to do voter education? Because the frightening piece of that is you don't give a kid a gun and a bullet and just tell them go out on November 4th and start shooting.
Wait a minute. What a gun and a bullet got to do with voting?
Well,
I don't understand that.
The bullet, it's just a metaphor for the power of the vote is that it can affect lives. It can change lives, but it can do bad things as well as it can do good things. And I want to make sure anyway that we challenge your listening audience, which is an informed audience, to make sure that they are aware of how that vote can be used to make the life better, as well as the detriment or the disadvantage of how it may actually make our lives worse.
Mr. Lindsay, you notice that I haven't discussed the presidential election because I'm of the frame of mind that I better start taking care of things at home before I worry about what the president is doing, what the vice president is doing. And I'm just wondering, what do you have up for Oklahoma? What do you have up for, what's that, House District 99?
I am a candidate in House District 99, and I concur with you 100% that Washington is a long, long way from home. While we may fix Washington, the greater determinant of what's going to happen to African Americans is going to happen at 23rd Street. All politics is local, so the more local we get engaged in those processes, and the more we understand about those candidates, the better off we're going to be at getting our voice heard. But as far as what I see as opportunities in House District 99 is that we have to partner House District 99 with House District 97. This is the only county that has two African-American legislators in it, meaning that we have two African-American districts in this one county. And so we have Mike Shelton over there beating the drum and doing monumental things with his hands tied behind his back. But in House District 97, we simply aren't seeing that kind of progress. So what am I running in a race to do is to say that we need to make sure we can get votes from the other side of the aisle. And if we don't understand that, then there is no candidacy for Willard. I was talking with a group of folks last Saturday, Calvin, and a gentleman was very partisan in his thoughts, and again, I can respect that. But one of the things I told him, I said, sir, I'm not here to save the lost. I'm here to deliver the saved. So if we don't know what time it is, and we don't know what's in our best interest as a voter, unlike your listeners, I got 30 days. I don't have enough time to try to convince you. Here's what the death, the lynchings, and the tar and feathers was all about in the 1860s. It wasn't about moving a party's agenda. It was about moving a people's agenda. And somewhere I think we've lost that over the last 40 years, that we, as black voters, are not moving our agenda. We're only talking about party ideology and what our party want to see happen.
Well, what party do you suggest? I mean, how can a person, if they want to, how could they vote for you? And we don't know what party you're with. We don't know if you're a Democrat. We don't know if you don't know where you're independent. What's going on?
I'm a Republican candidate.
You're a Republican candidate.
I am the Republican candidate running in House District 97. Mm-hmm. I'm running strictly because the voice of African Americans should be heard in the majority caucus. I'm not asking people to like Republicans. I'm not asking them to hate Democrats. This really isn't about anybody's party. It's about moving the agenda of a people. And so when I say that understanding what the process was about is more important than understanding the ideology, if we need 51 votes to make our deal happen, and your caucus only has 44, which is the case in the Oklahoma legislature, our deals die, no matter how good they are. And the bad stuff becomes law, no matter how bad it is. And so I think we need to be finding some way to reach across the ideological line and say African Americans have an agenda that transcends any party's agenda. And I believe I can carry that message.
All right, that's part A of the message that I feel like that you are prepared to carry to a state capitol. But part B of that, there's sometimes during the course of registering people to vote, we found that those registrations that we've gotten out in front of different churches, that we're getting quite a few people that are not registered voters, but they are there in the church. How do you mix religion and politics, or is there a way to mix religion and politics? Do you think?
The First Amendment, and I've said this before in some other groups, I am a very strong constitutionalist on that issue of the separation of church and state. I think there is a proper place for faith in government. But as I said before, Martin Luther King was very prolific when he said that the church should never be the master or the servant of the state. I think we need to be very careful about breaching the separation of church and state issues. We got Paul Blair with the Fairview Baptist Church in Edmond just last week preaching a sermon directly endorsing a Republican candidate for presidency and actually speaking against the Democrat candidacy.
Well, I'm not talking about that part. I'm talking about being registered to vote, and we're sitting there in the pews, we're sitting there in the choir stand, we're in the balcony. Can you, what is it going to take to motivate those people, those persons that are in the different churches that are not registered to vote, aren't prepared to even vote for the president, let alone for a candidate that's running for House District 97, if that's important to them? How can we get the most important thing, or what is the most important thing, you think, the religion or the voting?
I think they're both equally important. It just depends on what side the aisle is. I don't have an answer as to why African Americans, as a constituency, tend to have a high apathy rate. We either don't register, and then those that do register don't go vote. Mm-hmm. And then part of that could be some issues that are happening socially in our communities. Again, church. Again, there's a proper place for faith in government, but the church should be able to empower individuals to be responsible in their government, and I think that's something that faith does. But if I don't know the answer to why faith-going and church-going folks don't get engaged, I think they get engaged at a lot higher level than people in the streets. Now
definitely on that end. But Brother Lindsay, I've seen you, and I know that you have a strong religious background. I know that you care about the people, but one of the amazing things about you was when you sat down there at the during the Freedom Fiesta at that piano and that organ. That is something I don't know. Those of you who weren't part of the Freedom Fiesta this year, you got to see That young man play that
Well,
piano. Boy, way to go, bro. How long you been doing that? Where did you start off with that musical talent?
well, I came up through the gospel music workshop circuit.
Uh-huh.
Started playing piano when I was 7 under Minnie V. Anderson was my first piano teacher over at New Hope,
Uh-oh.
and then
Miss
when
Minnie
she died,
V.
huh?
Miss Minnie V.
Miss Minnie V.
Yeah, she was definitely a strong advocate in making sure you did it right.
That's true.
she,
And then I
matter of fact, she
graduated
made
up
me
there
quit
and
piano.
I became a student of Marvin Keaton,
Uh-huh.
and studied under her. And again, she's a marvelous lady with a real passion for music. But gospel music was my first love, and I was a youth minister of music many years ago in the Baptist church, and so that's not new. I do it from time to time as there's a need. So I still know my way around. So don't take me to be shabby. I can
No,
hold my
you
own.
did an outstanding job that I saw there, but I didn't know that Miss Meneville baby, that had taught you. If I'd known that you had that type of instructions early in your life, which made a difference,
Uh-huh.
kept you not only in church but being a productive part of the church, made you appreciate the good things that Reverend Provo would talk about, and what all,
Yeah.
where it just was. It didn't end at the door. Now, when the door opened and after services, you still had a job in the community. You continued that tradition, and I look forward to seeing not what you do, but how well you do when you do what you do. Now, being a Republican, a Baptist, and running for elective office, the other thought that comes to mind: are you sure that is everything all right?
Is everything all right?
There's something mental there. How many black Republicans that you know that are Baptists and are proud of it?
Well, I'm a member of the Church of Christ
Uh-huh.
today, but those were my roots, and
Right.
I think I'm all right. I think I'm the right man at the right time to enter the room and have discussions about the issues that are important to African Americans. And I think if we miss that, Calvin, we miss what it was all about. There was death. There was sacrifices made to exercise the right to vote, and we were really dying. Our forefathers were to get to the table to have their voice heard. And so just sit outside of a room and say we sent someone. In fact, I was talking yesterday, and I shared this concept. I said, we're in it to win it. But I keep having people talk to me about we're just in it to be in it. And that's not why we're in it. So as I was talking with Doc Jemison at the grocery store, I said, I keep getting pigeonholed on what we don't know. And everybody wants to give me a guarantee. What will you do if elected? And can you do this? And will you do that? Ladies and gentlemen, we really need to talk about what we know, because we don't know what we don't know. Can I get it done?
Are your shoulders wide enough?
I believe they are.
Is your
But
back
we won't know
strong
if we
enough
don't try. And that's the whole issue is
Okay,
you
well,
never
we'll
send them
see.
at the table. You never send them in the room. Will you ever know whether he could get the deal done or not? What we do know is that the people we've sent, Mike has done well with his hands tied behind his back. The other person has done miserably poor. Let's talk about what we know, because what we know is more compelling. Nothing got done. Nothing went anywhere, and we still had death and carnage in our community, and we're 2 years behind. Let's talk about what we know, because we don't know what we don't know. But we do know this.
All right. Now you're saying it, and we welcome you to the show. We're glad that you have taken the time out to be a part of it.
Sure,
We're looking
certainly.
forward to talking. There's a report out that I want to share with you. I'll
Okay.
make sure that next Saturday that it kind of gives us an idea of what our legislative representatives and senators have done during the course of their tenure there at the state capitol. But in the meanwhile, what church we want you to go to tomorrow? We want you to go to the church of your choice. We want to make sure that while you sit there in that pew, you realize that you also have an opportunity to be a registered voter. And if the election was tomorrow, who do you recommend that they vote for? No, I don't even want to know that.
I'm going to tell you anyway. Mike Shelton in House District 97 and Willard Lindsay in House District 99.
What about for President of the United States? No, we don't need to know
Well,
that.
we need to elect a minority member of the legislative majority.
Okay.
And I think that that's critical for us as African-American voters to know that that's what we simply have to do with our votes, is elect a minority member of the legislative majority. Democrats are running Congress. Republicans are running the state legislature. I don't think the strategy changes just because the party in power changes. The strategy should be consistent.
All right.
do what we got to do.
Sound like you could go on and on with that.
Oh, yeah.
But what we're going to do now is go ahead and finish that song we were listening to. And I appreciate you being a part of the show this morning. But sit back, relax. I know you told that neighbor. I know you've knocked on a many door getting ready for this upcoming election. And hopefully that every door you've knocked on, there's somebody there not only registered but a member of the NAACP. I was hoping to get a report on the new officers of the NAACP, but we still have time. So listen, and we'll tell you about that, all right?
Talk with you next week.
So much, so often. Thank you so much, Lord, for giving us an opportunity once again to make this not only a beautiful day, but a day where we do something great for our people, for our friends. Hey, those of you that listen, I got something that you haven't heard in a long time, and that is the King himself, live and in beautiful living color. Good morning, Mr. King.
Hey, what's going on, Kev?
Mr. Michael Eugene, the King. Hey, man, I was hoping you would call so you could tell me about Douglas's homecoming. Do you know anything about Douglas 2008 homecoming?
Oh, it was beautiful, man. A lot of the alumni showed up last night, and they were victorious. They faced Southeast Poison, and they won very strong. I think it was 32-6, 32-14, I believe it was.
Good whooping.
And I left around about maybe midway of the fourth quarter, so it might have got worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what about the parade? Were you a part of that?
No. Because, school was out Friday, so I think the parade was a Thursday, threw everybody off. So, but I understand it was beautiful, everything. The people showed up, and the crowd was nice, and, they undefeated in the district, and, very proud of them.
Got a long way to go, though.
Got a long way to go.
Congratulations, Trojans.
About 6 more weeks of it, before the district. So.
Well, we want you to be a part of it. We want you to be a part of letting us know, sharing with us information that the King, Michael Eugene, has about the Douglas High School Trojans. Great things have happened around Douglas High School, but some great people have graduated from that institution of learning. From the high school itself.
Right, there's a whole bunch of good ones.
A whole bunch of good ones.
Still around and doing their thing, and we need more support, the grandparents at Douglas, and, a lot of the kids are staying with their grandparents. They need to come down and check on the students, because we've been having a little problems down there, but the parents need to get back involved with the kids, because it's a good, beautiful school. I mean, it is beautiful.
Well, we're not talking about the look of it. But, Mike, let me ask you this question. Are you a registered voter?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. If not, I was going to have to hurry up and hang the phone. All right, thank you so much for getting up early this morning.
Okay.
And enjoying your coffee, enjoying your breakfast with this, the Clara Luper Show, where we have something that we're still going to share with you.
Okay.
So sit back, relax, and tell your mama said hello.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Lex, I'm ready to go with that other caller. I think I'm ready to go. Good morning, caller. How are you doing?
Good morning, Calvin, and a mighty good morning to you and the radio listening audience. I am so excited because God has given me another day, and I am going to take full advantage of that opportunity.
You sound like one of those Allstate insurance agents.
You're right about it.
You're
right about it. And let me tell you something else. That today from 4 to 7, over there at the Democratic Convention headquarters, we're going to have a rally.
A what?
Talking about a rally, talking about the importance of voters registration and a get out the vote rally, according to the Democratic Party. And I'm so excited because guess what?
No, I wouldn't dare to guess, Merle.
I know you would
not.
not.
I don't know where the Democratic headquarters is. Is that in Oklahoma County?
42nd and Lincoln.
42nd and Lincoln. Okay.
Yes, It sure is.
And 4
They're
o'clock.
going to have a rally from 4 to 7, the women of the Democratic Party. And I'm one of the speakers. I want to tell you why it's important for you to get out and register and vote and stop being a political parasite.
Well, Marilyn, I know that this has been a difficult week in a way for you, but the Lord has blessed you with the strength and wide enough shoulders, as I've been saying during the course of the program, to go through it. You want to talk to us a little bit about our cousin, our great friend, a sense of, inspiration and that's none other than Carlos Clark. Would you like to share some information about the services there?
Calvin, I would be more than happy to because you're talking about my lifeline. I was there when Carlos was born, and I was there when Carlos died. Carlos was probably one of the most unique individuals I've ever known in my life. As a child, he had developed spinal meningitis, and he went blind and couldn't walk, and the doctors had given him up. But Carlos and the Lord said, "Not now, Carlos. You have a mission." And as we entered that church yesterday, I thought about the mission. What was truly Carlos's mission? And as Reverend Coleman spoke, I could better understand. Because Carlos touched the lives and the hearts of so many people. No matter what was going on in his life, the pain that he felt, he would always give glory to God. Carlos was unique in understanding, unique in love and devotion. He was the son of Betty Germany and Terry Clark. Yes, Carlos attended the Oklahoma City school system and graduated in 1986 from Douglas High School. Carlos was a special person because wherever you went and whenever you saw Carlos, Carlos made you feel important. And when people would come to the hospital to pray for Carlos, he would end up praying for them and giving them hope and a sense of love and a feeling of Jesus Christ.
That's that wide shoulder concept.
But,
you take on your problems too.
Yes, all the time. But he would say that God, believe in God and trust in God. And we have this thing about the mustard seed faith. We just need a little faith. We don't need a lot of faith. We just need a little. God says, little as a mustard seed. But I would be not telling you the truth if I would tell you that the pain is not there.
Yeah.
The pain is there deeper than a knife that had been stabbed in my heart and ground around.
Well,
because I loved him with everything, and I tried to show him all the days of his life how much I loved him.
Well, Marilyn,
yes.
you did a fantastic job this week on getting coordinating the family together, not only for the services, but for the dinner after the services, the dinner before the services, and our relatives that came from the East Coast, West Coast, the Northern Coast, the Southern Coast, came from across the nation to be a part of the ceremony, the homegoing ceremony of our good friend, our great cousin, Poe. I shouldn't call him Poe because he did do a lot of things great during the course of his little short life. But Carlos, I think the best thing, the happiest I ever seen him was when he met and when he married Poe Tora Williams.
Yes,
and Carlos, you're talking about some love there, young love. And they still loved each other.
And they have a young son, Trayvon, that's 3 years old. So as I continue to walk down this path called life, I want you to think and pray for all the families that are going through the trials and tribulations. And I want to do a special program next week, Calvin.
Okay.
And because I am concerned about the medical care in this country. They give you pills to make you sick. They make you sick to give you pills. Something has got to happen in America. But before that happens, I want you to remember that on October 10th is the last day you have to register and vote. A voteless people is a hopeless people. I want you to do what is important to do, and all of us have to get out and vote because one vote does count. I love you, Calvin, and I'm out of here.
I love you too, Marilyn, and I especially love the great job that you did this week, and I also love the job that you do not only for the family but for all of your Allstate insurance what should I say, it's customers, but people that are with Allstate Insurance. So hang on in there, stay strong, but most of all, keep that love strong, all right?
Okay, and you have a good day, and thank you very much.
No problem at all. There was another services that were held this week, young man, I mentioned it earlier, and we're talking about Sergeant Douglas, who passed away, and who all of the police officers in the state of Oklahoma, who all of the police officers, especially here in Oklahoma City, probably had an opportunity to know him as a policeman. But then there are thousands of us that had an opportunity to know him as a friend, as a hard worker, as someone that loved this community. Now, his services were held at the St. Luke United Methodist Church, and then all of these people in the bright lights and red lights, they went on out to Arlington's Memory Gardens. But you know, one thing about it, that even though we drove to different cemeteries, we know that we have to be very attentive. We got to be extremely cooperative. We got to be extremely aware of the families whose lives have been touched by that death angel. That death angel, not only with Carlos, not only with Brother Douglas, but thank goodness they were able to find the body of Nikita Smith, a young lady that was brutally murdered, that her ex-husband murdered. Now that's really a mess, and it's a mess in more ways, and I just like to keep it up in a way where I won't say all of the things that we're thinking. But her husband, Dante Johnson, it must have been something going on there that he wanted to murder his own wife in front of the kids or around the kids and then go dump her body. But today at 11 o'clock at Mount Zion, I believe it is, they will be having the services for Nikita Smith. Now, Nikita's parents, Nikita's family, they've been touched by the death angel. So let's bind together as a community to let those people who we know have been affected by death, let us just give them an encouraging hand, an extra hug, and say, we can do this. We'll help you get through it together. Even though there's some anger involved, especially with Nikita, we know there's some blessings involved, especially with Brother Douglas. We know that there was definitely a blessing involved with Brother Clark. Well, still, the families need our support. But let me go on to this call. I'm running close on here, but I think I can catch it, Lex. Do you? Good morning. How are you doing this beautiful Saturday morning?
Quite well. I'm blessed. Too blessed to be stressed. How are you this morning, Calvin?
Fantastic. I'm so proud of the fact that I see the sunshine. I know that coming up next week, I know that they're at the Human Rights Commission. Stanley Evans will be there. I know that Mike Shelton will be there at the state capitol doing a good job. I know that our representatives and our senators have been invited to the show. They'll be doing a great job and representing us. But I also know, are you a registered voter?
Yes, I am.
Okay, then I can continue to talk. Who am I talking with?
You're talking with Johnny Swanson.
Johnny Swanson. Hey, something great happened to you this week that you would you share it with us? Something happened to for our community. Will you share that with us?
Well, what happened was that I went to Nashville, Tennessee last week, and I went to a thing called the Freedom Riders Convention. It was a 1961 Freedom Riders Convention where they honored 14 persons who held a demonstration in 1961 for civil rights. And one of those persons that sat in that civil rights movement in Nashville was from Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma, okay. And he was an active member of the sit-in movement here. But who was that person?
That was William Mitchell.
W.B.
William B. Mitchell.
W.B. Mitchell?
That's right, the
All
W.B.
Right. Okay, W.B. himself, way down there in Nashville. What school was that he was attending?
He attended Tennessee State University.
Mm-hmm.
And with him attending Tennessee State, he got with persons from Vanderbilt and Meharry Medical School, and they all staged a demonstration down there. I think it was a restaurant that wouldn't serve blacks, at that time Negroes. So they held this demonstration, and because of their initial effort toward Insidians in Nashville, they can now sit at those restaurants and stuff. But that ceremony that they had, it was fantastic. It was truly fantastic. And they awarded those 14 Freedom Riders an honorary Ph.D. from Tennessee State University.
So W.B. Mitchell is now a doctor from Tennessee
He is
State.
now a doctor.
Boy, he would love to receive that honor in person. He was a great man. He was a great participant in our sit-in movements here in Oklahoma City. But Butch,
Well, that's right.
can I call you Butch?
Pardon me?
Can I call you by your nickname Butch?
Well, yes, you want to.
Might as well have been doing it 50 years.
You've already said it on the air.
On there. Okay. Hey, man, thanks so much for sharing that information. We too, are proud of the accomplishments that have happened at Tennessee State, not only because of W.B. Mitchell, but because of the accomplishments that you did when you attended in that great university. And I know you were a great student and a great graduate from Douglas High School. You did get your high school diploma from what school?
I got it from Douglas High School.
All right.
Sure did.
Go Trojans, go Trojans. Across the world, sort of like Dr. Holloway likes to brag on Langston, from Langston to the world, but from Douglas to Langston, and from there to the world. So go, Johnny Butch. We'll get back with you, and I appreciate you being a part of the show this morning. Running slick on time.
Doing that.
Okay, no problem. But keep it up and make sure your neighbor's a registered voter. But I got to do this for my little cousin. Okay. Mount Olive and not New Zion. Well, that's great. One mistake this morning. I'm doing real well. But then I know I won't mess up on this because, Herman, yesterday was your birthday also, and I know that you were sitting back and you're waiting to hear this special song. Happy birthday, Herman Tuggle. Happy birthday, Herman. Happy birthday to you. And may you have many, many more. And no, I am not available for no concert appearances. See you later. Make this a great week. One mistake that I made on the services, deal with it, but and give love and strength to the families that have been affected by death during this year. Keep up the compliments for those people that are doing something for our community. Love you dearly. See you at Hometown, 23rd Martin Luther King. See you later.